Looks like we got a couple people there.
There is a lot of people here. Let me count the rows real quick. 1, 2. There's 16 rows back, and let me see here. And looks like more than 10 across on each side of the aisle. So there's tons of people, and I'm pretty sure we're going to end up in standing room only.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I imagine you should probably get back to your seat and let's just kind of sit and wait. Looks like they're playing. What's going on in the back? They got a wet bar, or are they playing beer pong, or what?
What?
Nothing. I'm being funny.
Well, I didn't hear you, so okay. I can't laugh.
I said, what's that at the back? Is that a wet bar?
No. It's Sheriff Mack has got some books and pamphlets and stuff out there. But he's already waved to me. It is?
Yes. Community.
Well, I'm just going to be recording him up here.
Who are you?
I am with Free Out News.
And Revolution Radio, and we have permission.
Okay, well, some of the people out here are uncomfortable with you photographing them.
I won't go back there anymore. Is that fair enough?
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right, go back to your seat. Maintain a low profile.
Well, it's just we're getting ready, and I like to give you as much as I can.
That's cool. Let's not get in any trouble.
Don't want that.
It was rough enough getting in here.
Great. Now my tripod's acting up. Hold on. Great. I'm going to have one hand on you and one hand on my tripod. Isn't this wonderful?
Well, that's what's your tripod doing?
Oh, it's just wanting to bounce around.
All right. Well, tell your tripod I said stop that.
It's acknowledging.
All right. Well, anyway, just let's go ahead and get stabilized, and I'll just wait. And it's a little pixelized. It isn't the best we're going to get, but the audio is the most important thing here anyway. So.
Gotta track my battery too. I do have my extra little charger. I just don't want to do it too soon because it'll just kill them both.
Right. And I'm assuming you have a big sack of double A's.
I don't have any double A's. I just have my little charger.
Oh, now I told you.
Another charger.
All right, here we go. Let's just shut up.
Shut down. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Corey Stillman. I'm the president here of Hardy County. And just getting people seated here, but I'll give you just a minute. We've all had the I don't know if you call it the pleasure or the unpleasure of living through the last 6 weeks here in Hardy County with the go-ons, and I guess like a lot of you, I've probably been on the side. A few days ago, I Sheriff Richard Mack. We would like a round of applause for Richard Mack tonight. We'd like to thank him for coming here. Came all the way from Arizona today, I understand. Is that correct? picture. He kind of wrote here, Sheriff America's Last Hope. I've not read it. I've read a little bit of his info on the web. I just told Richard back I'm not here tonight to do anything that's harmful to our community. I told that a few days ago when we talked about having a freedom ride. Was never intended to be anything to do anything decisive or to make one another or do anything that would continue to tear the community apart. Like I told Jeff Grassi when he wanted to visit with me about doing that, I've not ever heard any of Sheriff Mack. But not read any of his literature. I don't think it would hurt anyone to listen. We still live in America and we still have the right to free speech and assemble, to be heard. I know this was overflowed into counties surrounding us too, and there's a lot of groups on this now. I guess it's my hope and prayer tonight that we'll all come better educated on things that we can stand behind. I feel like Sheriff Mack is a man of action. He's proven that through some of the stands he's taken against the federal government that were good for America. And so, with that, Sheriff Mack, I'm going to turn the time over to you. He's like to know where. Grateful for the sacrifices of our forefathers who made this possible for us to come here and to learn. We're grateful for knowledge that in the end that right will prevail over wrong. And as Americans, we have the right to get active politically, to get educated in a way that when we go to the ballot box in a legal way, it has been handed down from the time of the early forefathers of the Revolution and formers of the Constitution. Grateful for that opportunity to do so here tonight. Pray that the Spirit might be with us and that all those here will be edified and will go home better prepared to go forward in making this a better place here in Hardy County. Pray that we'll have a better understanding of our rights and the things that we can do legally. Pray that we'll have a gift of discernment to make good choices and do things that are good for all people in this county. Realize that we've all been born with the right to choose, and that we acknowledge that we do not take that right from anyone, whether they agree with us or not. We pray that this understanding might prevail here tonight. We so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Sheriff Mack, I'll turn the time over to you once again. A round of applause for Sheriff Mack. Thank you for coming on today.
I can only echo that and tell you it's a really humbling experience to be here with you. I don't know if you know about this outside of Bern, but we've been thrust into the international language. So, maybe we owe you an apology for that. Maybe we owe have an apology. came here, what was it, January 2nd? I was here. Came here to bring attention to the injustice happening to some of your neighbors. And I'm going to tell you that in my 20 years of law enforcement and my follows to my Bill of Life and battling for freedom, I can just simply tell you one thing, that Dwight and Steve Hammond should not be in prison.
That's right.
And Susie should not be without her son. That's an absolute outrage and an injustice. And tonight, I'm going to ask this several times, but I might as well start with it. I want every public official in the state of Oregon, in this county, please answer me one little question. When an injustice occurs in your area, especially in your neighborhood and your community, who has the legal, lawful, constitutional, and moral responsibility to stop it?
The sheriff.
Please tell me. I want all of you to ask them that question. Because I don't think anybody's answered that question. I want to know, in the United States of America and in Harney County, when an injustice occurs, who has the duty and responsibility to stop
The sheriff.
it? The sheriff. And in my book, I asked the question, the book, he said, when all government should be drawn to Washington as the center of all power, it will render powerless the checks provided and become as venal and oppressive as the government from which we separated. I ask, and I'll ask this again, when government becomes venal and oppressive, to whom can the people turn for peace, safety, protection, and liberty?
Sheriff.
Why can't that happen? And why are we doing it? I'm going to tell you, somebody else said this. Probably as well as I have. I was on his show about a year and a half ago, 2 years maybe. Lou Dobbs. I don't know if you saw his show, but it's on YouTube if you want to go back and look at it. And he was really railing about the injustice that had happened right here. And he was railing, not on the federal government. He said, I blame every elected official in the state of Oregon. So,
Yeah.
Amen. That's right.
I haven't heard say anything to the federal government about leaving honest, law-abiding citizens alone in this state. Or did I hear anybody say it from this county? Leave law-abiding citizens alone. You know what it's called when government leaves you alone? It's called liberty. That's how you define liberty, by how much government stays out of your life. And I was, you know what, I talked to people out here, and I talked about it with the people who came with me. There's some people who came and met me in Arizona from Texas, who were traveling with me and helping me with this association, with the CSQA. But I'm going to tell you right now, I want you to make that a household name, and it's because of one thing and one thing only. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with, and let me sidetrack this just a little bit. This morning, before I left for the airport, a Reverend Thomas came to see me for an early breakfast meeting at the airport, at the Sky Harbor Airport meeting. So that's how my day started. A meeting with this Reverend who came and he said, do you know that your CSQA is the only equal and effective solution we have left in America? And I said, I know, because when people start looking for the truth of what we have left, as far as solutions and alternatives, this is the only one. This is because we take back America, not in
Washington, D.C., and not this farce of an election that's going on right now. And you know what this election is to me? Entertainment. That's it. Do you think that voting for another Democrat or Republican in Washington, D.C. is going to change a damn thing there? No. It's not going to. Ted Cruz, if he gets elected, is not going to abolish the IRS. He's not. Okay? And I know Ted Cruz. I would consider him a friend. He's not going to do it. And anything that has anything to do with restoring liberty in this country is not going to happen in Washington, D.C. It's too bought and paid for, it's too corrupt, and it's too Washington, D.C. And they're not going to stop being Washington, D.C. So we're going to have a solution. We take back America, my dear friends, county by county and state by state, one sheriff and one county at a time.
Amen.
And okay? Now,
let's see. I came here with my son too. Oh, there he is. I want to make sure my bodyguard stays close by. But I thought emails and I can show, or text, I can show you my text, but I don't want to have anybody make fun of me because I still have a flip. But I could show you that. Somebody else is smart like that, or just old like that. But I got several texts from friends and others warning me not to come. And that just made me want to come home.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. And I'll tell you what, I had such a great time when we were here at that wonderful, beautiful rally.
well, and what did the press just want to call that?
A bunch of anti-government, right-wing extremist fanatics are marching from the Safeway parking lot up by the sheriff's office and up to Hammond's home. And saying Amazing Grace.
Amen.
Boy, that's radical for you. Boy, we gave the press a real letdown, didn't we?
Yep.
Holding our flags, and I was up towards the front. When I looked back down towards Safeway, and I was up about a block and a half, and I saw so many of you carrying those flags, and that was absolutely the most beautiful thing. And thank you for being here there. And then that day, some people went to the Maui Wildlife Refuge and occupied it. And just, I think enough has been said about that, but let me just reiterate something. I said this and I'll say it again. Adam Bounty is a friend of mine. He is a good man. He is not a nut. But I disagree totally with that. I don't believe it was a good idea. I told him then. He asked me to come out there, and I refused. And I did not support the testing. I understand the frustration, totally. And we should have been putting all our energy into doing something to help the hammer. And yes, the rest of the ranchers in this country, because there's no question about it. The federal government is shutting you down. They are. And you can look at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. This is not my opinion. Let's go back 2 years, shall we? Or 22 months. Can we go back 22 months to Bunkerville, Nevada, where some of this, I guess, got started? You know how many ranchers there were in Clark County, Nevada? There were 53. You know that there was only one left now? The nut, the right-wing extremist, the anti-government guy. He saved his ranch. The others did not. And all were put out of business by our own federal government. One, the Dan sisters. I know them too. They're Native American. They don't care. Federal government doesn't care. And guess what? They're going after the Lakota Sioux land in South Dakota and Nebraska too. I went there and stood with the Lakota Sioux. Love them. Great people. The federal government does not care. what race you are or who you are. They're taking the land. They want the land. And if the Oregon State Sheriff's Association wanted to investigate something, investigate this for me. How many ranchers have they already put out of business in Oregon? Do you know how many farmers they put out of business? Do you know how many farmers in the San Joaquin Valley they put out of business in California, where we get 50% of our fruits, vegetables, and nuts? Do you know how many farmers they put out of business in Klamath Falls Basin when they turned off the water there? I was there. What was that, 9, 10, 12 years ago? As the Bush administration did that one. You know the difference between the Obama and Bush administration? Obama spends more. So, Obama spends more. That's it. Same thing. Take the land, suppress, oppress, and attack. You know, I've been to Washington, D.C. a few times. And I love Washington, D.C. Hate the politicians and hate the government, but I love Washington, D.C. And I walked into the Jefferson Memorial. Man, he was a radical white extremist, wasn't he? Have you read the wall in that building? I read the wall. I guess you're not supposed to read the stuff there. You're certainly not supposed to quote it. And you're not supposed to read the Constitution in this country today. And you're certainly not supposed to quote it. Because the media will nail you big time. Oh, you're an anti-government extremist. All you have to do is quote the Founding Fathers and quote the Constitution. You're going to get that later. And then, if that doesn't stick, they'll start telling everybody that you're a racist. Wow. And I just got back from Houston last weekend, supporting a candidate there, running in Houston for sheriff. And he's running completely and entirely on a constitutional platform. That he, in the third largest sheriff's office in the United States of America, will be a constitutional sheriff, and he will enforce the Constitution. And he's not going to allow the IRS and other federal agencies to come in and victimize his citizens. Wow, what a novel idea. And Sheriff Arpaio from Phoenix and I were both there campaigning with him. And don't cheer for Joe, he didn't come. And Joe and I were there with him, and we took several pictures just to prove to people, because Carl Pittman, who's that candidate, is a black American. And yet they try to tell the people that Joe and I are both racist. And you know who questions that the most? Carl Pittman. And he's a good man. He's a Republican. And I don't care what party they are, I really don't. Because my other favorite sheriff in America is Sheriff David A. Clark Jr. from Milwaukee, the only black sheriff in all of Wisconsin. And he's my brother. He's a little bit dark complected more than I am, but he probably beat me in basketball too. But he's a great man. And we don't care what party people are. We don't care what color they are. We don't care. But we care for his support of the Constitution. We care for his support and defend and keep your oath of office. Isn't it a little bit of a matter of integrity that when you take your job, before you can take your job, you have to swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution? Not to the president, not to the Supreme Court, not to the county commissioners, but in God's name, you swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution itself. What does that presuppose? That you might read it. That you might know what you're swearing. And that makes every police officer, peace officer, every public official, every sheriff, a guard of the Constitution. That's what we are. And that that is to protect. In fact, you want to know what the Declaration of Independence says? It is the purpose of all government, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. That don't sound religious, does it? Oh, it can't be religious, we can't do religious stuff. But they tell us in there where our rights come from.
And it does not come from Washington, D.C., and it does not come from the president, and it didn't even come from the forefathers of the. Our rights come from, let's see, what did they say? Endowed by our Creator. And breaking our word to Almighty God. We made an oath that we made a guilty. And the founders thought we will have everybody in all three branches swear that oath so that we will perpetuate the continuance of our sacred Constitution. We fought 4 wars in our country today. This is my standard. I want to reiterate something again. And my are dedicated to a peaceful and effective return to the Constitution. I left my home this morning and knelt down in prayer with my wife and my son. Tonight to be the beginning of America coming together. And those of you who are FBI agents in the room, I mean this to you. And to any peace officer or public official, the same thing. It is time for you who work in all levels of government to come together with us, with the people of this country, and help us return America to its Constitution. That's what I think. That's what I think. The threats, notwithstanding, and believe in human community, and hope that some way, somehow, I can bring some peace to you, and I can give you some direction. We can go. I can't even admit this right up front. I've done some crazy things. All right? Suing the federal government when I was sheriff in a small town in southern Arizona was absolutely crazy. That's my wife. She'll tell you. Even though she was the one who made the final decision for this show. To this day, I still say, you must have been having a weird you guys said for me to go ahead and do this. And she did. And that was a miracle. And we look back at that. That happened in that would have been like January of 1994. Because this was pursuant to the Brady Bill. And the Brady Bill is the first time signed by the president that proposed a gun control scheme known as the Brady Bill that forced and threatened to arrest sheriffs in this country. I'm not making this up. You can go look up the case yourself. Cornell University Law School did a great review of it. Look it up for yourself. I've got copies of it here. There's no way I can lie about this. This happened in court. And to arrest us if we fail to comply. All the sheriffs in the country, you either do this because we told you to, or you're going to jail. And I'm going to show you this. Now, just so you know, what you see behind you, I'm going to show you this. Many of you want to know, is this really true that I've written it in books, that I spent my life doing? Is the sheriff the number one law enforcement authority in your county?
Yes.
In this country. Yes. Okay? Some still doubt that. And I'm going to show those doubting Thomases the proof. I'm a former investigator, former detective. I've investigated murder. I've investigated bike theft, whatever. Shoplifting, rape, any of them, any crime you can ever imagine, I've investigated. Oh, guess what? I've investigated arson too. You know, be charged with arson, you have to do it on purpose. You have to prove intent. It means that you intentionally burn something to destroy something. That there was criminal intent. Does there anybody that was involved with the Hammond situation?
No.
None. And so if there was none of that, there certainly wasn't any intention to commit domestic terrorism. And everybody knows they are not domestic terrorists. And that is a joke. And that's why, when Rudolph said, I blame every elected official in Oregon, he was absolutely correct. Because there's not anybody in here that doesn't know that is an absolute outrage and a farce. And let's get serious about it. I go right back to my question. Who has the responsibility, the moral duty, to interpose and stand in the way when somebody is receiving that kind of ridiculous treatment, this kind of criminal treatment in America today? Now, briefcase. I need my briefcase. Then somebody throw that. Jimmy can get it. Okay. There it is. I've got to show you something there too, because Johnny. Wow. That's what you call service with a smile there. Thank you. Thank you. You really want to smile? Now, I don't know if any of you remember this, but we didn't learn a lot about the principles of the Revolutionary War when I went to school. But you know the Battle of Trenton? When George Washington crossed the Delaware, you know, he looked so strong in that picture. And they're running away. They're running from the Redcoats over to Valley. They have no way of fighting anymore. If they weren't suffering from dysentery, they were suffering from desertion. And this was no picnic. And some of the men, one captain said, some of the men were naked in every sense of the word. Some had taken the last pieces of clothes and tied them around their feet. And when they went back to Trenton, it was called blood tracks in the snow. And literally some of them left tracks of blood in the snow. Now, how did they get so motivated to go back? They were running, they go in and seeking refuge in Valley Forge, and some of the whites came there to try to size fire eggs. You know what that is? Oh, wheat boiled in water. Wheat flour or just white flour, boiled in water, and then you get nothing caked about it. Unless they let it dry, and then they eat that. That's all they had. Any wonder that they had dysentery, right? So, how do you get a starving, beaten, unequipped, you're back to the wall, completely starving army to go back across the Delaware, march 20 miles in the worst blizzard ever, in the snow and ice, to attack? What did Washington teach us? The power of inspiration and the power of leadership. And what do you do when you're cornered? You attack. What an absolutely astonishing leader we had in that. But do you know what he used to motivate his men? He used Thomas Paine. And he read them the American Crisis, and he passed this out to all the soldiers, and they were required to read it. And it got to it. You remember the part? You've heard this part. These are times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and sunshine patriot will, of course, shy away from the battle. And then he went on and he said, he talked about how the federal government, King George III, we have done full circle, haven't we? He said they passed not just crazy taxation, but a law called the Declaratory Act that allowed the Parliament and King to legislate anything they wanted, anything against the colonists. They could control their lives. They could put Hessians and redcoats in their homes at any time. The Hessians could literally knock on your door and say, we live here now. Or the redcoats, just come in, we live here now. Where's the master bedroom? That's where we're staying. And they did that.
And that's why we have the Third Amendment today. That's the founding fathers saying you don't get to do that ever again. No. And how did the whole war start? The war started because they came here, the Redcoats came to Lexington and Concord to take away the guns of the colonists. So they wouldn't have a way to defend themselves against liberty. The same against tyranny. The same thing Thomas Jefferson said in that wonderful memorial where he said, defiance of tyranny is obedience to God. You're not supposed to read this. Go to Washington, D.C., but don't read this stuff on the wall. Because you'll be radical if you do. And then, oh, and by the way, the Declaratory Act would be similar to the Affordable Care Act, which proves they can legislate anything against us in any type of way. And then he says, but I should suffer the misery of devils were I to make a whore of my soul by swearing allegiance to one whose character is that of a sottish, stupid, stubborn, worthless, brutish man. Well, he didn't like King George III, did he? And then he says, but we punish on the one hand, and on the same, let it go. That's the part I want to talk about just real quickly. You know that when I was sheriff, you know how many times the BLM and the Forest Service did a controlled burning? Got out of control?
Every time.
Just about every time. And in our county, my county where I was sheriff was Graham County, like Graham Cracker. Mount Graham was in that county. It was the only place we could escape 110 and 115 summer temperature. Beautiful mountain. I grew up there in doing Boy Scout stuff all my life. It had lakes and streams and pine trees and hunting and fishing, just beautiful there. And it was cool up there, 10,500 feet at the time. And so here they go, another controlled burning. Wind picks up, they burn half the side of the mountain. And you know what? They didn't charge anybody with arson. Nobody gets fined. Just like Thomas Paine says, they punish on the one and let the other go. And government should have to answer to a higher standard, not a lower one. Right. And they never did it any trouble. And then I talked to sheriffs. It's not the same thing there. I see it in northern Arizona. I see it in Utah. I see it in California. I see it in Oregon. I see it in Colorado. Nobody gets punished. Nobody's in prison from the BLM for ever doing that. Nobody ever got charged with anything or even fined or fired. Nobody even gets disciplined. And so I always, when I go to the airport, they always give me a USA Today newspaper. And I always read the front page. And I always get really tickled. That's just totally amazing. The Secret Service goes down to Latin America. And the prostitutes call the police on them because they didn't pay the agreed amount. And so the Secret Service gets in trouble by the local police. You have to pay our prostitutes what they charge. What's the matter? Don't come here anymore. You're not going to pay what they charge. So that made the paper. And then, not to be outdone, the DEA goes down and does the same thing, except just a little bit better. I'm going to show you this. Front page, USA Today, let me give you the date, March 27, 2015. Right here, front page. Everybody's camera needs to get that? This one right here. U.S. drug agents engaged in sex parties. Yeah. And then I read, I said, this has got to be funny. Front page, USA Today. Okay. This isn't the New American. This isn't John Birch Society. Okay. USA Today. And then you read it, here you go. For years, Drug Enforcement Administration agents posted in Colombia for years engaged in sex parties involving prostitutes who were supplied by the local cartels.
Imagine that.
By the local cartels. You know how illegal that is? The very groups that they're supposed to be fighting and combating are so friendly with them that they pay for their prostitutes. Can I ask you something else? Can you guess how many were prosecuted?
No.
Can you guess how many were disciplined? Can you guess how many resigned? One. The new female director of the DEA decided that she better do the right thing and quit. Why? She didn't do it. She had nothing to do with it. She wasn't even there. My dear friends, and yet we have 2 law-abiding citizens sitting in jail as domestic terrorists. Absolutely astonishing. This is the government that local officials trust to come in here and enforce land management. They can't even balance their budget. They can't even take care of the simplest things in Washington, D.C. And we're going to trust them to run Oregon? And have you wondered why they own all our land? Is it okay? Is it constitutional for them to own 90% of Nevada?
No.
70% of Arizona.
No.
In my county, probably the worst one ever, anywhere, 95%. You want to know why we just couldn't quite make it financially in that county? We had no tax base. 5% of the land belonged to us, the rest to the federal government. I admit part of that was a Apache reservation. It was a very, very small part. They didn't like it either. And so now we have all the scandals from Black Panthers stopping people from voting by threatening to kill them. And that's on videotape. And our president, who said just recently that he wants to make it easier for people to vote, he and Eric Holder refused to prosecute the people who were guilty of that crime and stopping people from voting at all. Is there anything worse that's ever happened in voting history than to threaten to kill people who are going in to vote? They're not going to stop that. And then they run guns down to Mexico with the Fast and Furious project. You know how many people went to jail for that? Murders, at least 400 murders committed with those guns. That our government ran down to Mexico. And for what kind of stupidity was that? Anybody prosecuted? No, the whole thing stopped because Barack Obama said, I declare executive privilege. And it all stopped. Yeah, I mean, and he was probably one of the guys that provided the prostitutes for him. Yeah. And we could go on and on and on with these things, but how about all the scandals involving the IRS? And Lois Lerner gets up and screams, I did nothing wrong. I've committed no crime. And I plead the fifth. Goodbye, I'm retired. I'm going to try that. If I ever get audited, I'm going to quote her. I've done nothing wrong. I've committed no crime. Goodbye. I'm going to Hawaii. No big deal. And this is the type of crimes committed every day by our government. And what do? More. They do more. And they go after people like White and Steve. Astonishing. And then we have people who go, well, I just don't have the authority to keep peace. What? Let's get involved in what we promised to do when we took our job. All of us. I'm not pointing the finger at any one person. I say the same thing as Lou Dunn. I blame everybody in this state who swore that oath to protect and preserve the U.S. Constitution. Everybody. Okay? Starting from the dog catcher all the way down to the governor. Okay, I love this quote. Just swallow it. There are two types of law, just and unjust. Why do I quote this? Because they believe in it. Totally. They believe this guy. So do I on this one. Terrific quote. He's absolutely correct. Why would anybody enforce or obey an unjust, stupid law? In fact, Edmund Burke, a legislator and statesman from England, said the enforcement of stupid laws is the essence of tyranny. Boy, do we have a lot of essence of tyranny today, huh? The enforcement of stupid laws. Did you see that recently? We sure have. One has not only a legal but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Absolutely. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. And just think how easier that's going to be if your sheriff's standing next to you when you do it. And you have the entire sheriff's office on your side. And I have some legal precedents on that too, where that happened. You know that one of our good sheriffs just recently nullified an arrest of a citizen. This is Sheriff Finch in Liberty County, Florida. And one of his deputies arrested a citizen there for merely having a gun in his pocket. A law-abiding citizen. But he didn't have a concealed carry permit. See the double edge on that? Why do we ask permission from government who's already taken an oath to guarantee us the right to keep and bear arms? What? Did I miss something? So we have to get a permit to be able to do that? Ask the founding fathers if that was okay, to get a permit. Okay? So he didn't have his permit, so he went to jail. He went to jail. Floyd Perry. Absolutely astonishing. The sheriff came down and said, we don't do that. We don't arrest law-abiding citizens for carrying a gun in his pocket. And the only reason the deputy knew that he had a gun in his pocket because he pulled him out on a traffic stop and shook him down and found it. Otherwise, he would have been fine. Staying in his car, he would have been fine. And so the sheriff nullified that arrest. The deputy went and told the state police and the governor, and they came in and arrested Sheriff Finch and booked him into his own jail. Then he went to trial, and the CSPUA was there with him at the trial, and we helped pay for his defense and helped pay for his house payment while he had no job because the governor suspended him from being a sheriff. And now he had no income. How do you defend yourself when you're unemployed? So we came in and helped him. And we helped with his lawyers. And I went to the trial. And it was an absolute farce, and the jury saw it. It took 45 minutes. Put him back in his job.
Good.
And that's American freedom. Sheriff Brad Rogers in Elkhart County, Indiana. The FDA comes in and starts harassing one of the Amish farmers there. Now, you know, if you let those Amish get going, man, they're just going to, crime will go across this country like crazy. And so you got to appreciate the FDA going after the Amish. And so, you know, when the FDA comes to an Amish farmer and they say, we want to come in and check your farm, you know what the Amish are going to say. Come ahead. They're very passive, very submissive. So he does that. So this Mr. Hosteller did it 5 times. And they do it again, and they keep coming. He passed everything. They even took his milk and cheese and butter to have it examined at a lab. He passed everything. They keep coming back. They sent him to a grand jury in Detroit. Now he calls the sheriff. He says, I don't know how I would get to Detroit. I live in Indiana. And my horse and buggy just, they need new tires. They're not going to make it. And so Sheriff Rogers, who's had our CSPUA training, is one of the top sheriffs in America as far as being constitutional.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah is right. And he told the FDA that if you come back in my county without 3 things, probable cause, due process, and duly signed warrants, I will arrest you for trespass. True story. Because now, Sheriff Rogers calls me and he says, hey Sheriff Mack, a little problem here. I'm not too worried about it, but the FDA just threatened to arrest me for felony interference, obstruction of justice. He says, it's a felony. I said, yeah, I know. And I said, so how can I help you? He goes, help me write a letter to him. I said, great, let's do it. So we wrote a letter. Any of you want that letter, email me, share it back to Hotmail, and I'll send it back to you. Okay? It's a dude. So we write this letter back to the FDA, telling them why they can't arrest him for anything. And 3 days later, Mr. Hofstadter gets a letter, a certified letter from the so, and they haven't been back in 3 years. So this is a sheriff taking a strong stand, trying to protect. What does he do? I am going to protect my citizens from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And he does. And he says I would have done it even if they had arrested me, and I would go back and do it again. Because they're not going to do that in my county, and they're not going to abuse the citizens, and they're not going to destroy families who are law-abiding citizens. And these owners that think that they can put cows out on their grassland and eat grass and bring them in and milk it and then share the cheese and milk with people without pasteurizing it. If you let that go, you'll have to climb everything. We got it. So it's astonishing how much they get away with, but it's also astonishing how stupid. And we keep allowing it. And so how do we take America back? Sheriff by sheriff, county by county, state by state, just like Sheriff Lodger showed. And there's been plenty of other instances where this has happened. Now here's the oath of office. Everybody swears this oath. It's similar, it changes a little bit from military, but right there at the bottom, look at it. We'll bear true faith and allegiance to the same, so help me God, to the Constitution itself and to the Constitution of the state. And I'll bet you that the Oregon State Constitution does not allow for gun control, does it? You want me to tell you the truth about gun control? Can I give you just a real quick synopsis? Gun control in the United States of America is against the law. Did you hear that? Against the law. Period. And this is showing who's all supposed to take the oath of office. Every public official who's part of all the three branches of government. All three branches of government, what is it? Legislative, executive, and judicial. All three branches are required to follow the Constitution. If they do not, does that bestow or put any responsibility on anyone in your county or anyone in Oregon to go along? They violate their oath, they violate the Constitution, and I have some sort of duty to go along? It's just the opposite. It's the Brad Rogers, it's Sheriff Rogers' response. I will put myself in the way. I will stop this. I will say no. And that's peaceful and effective. Right? Remember now, you're looking at the only sheriff in history to file a lawsuit against the federal government for overreach and violating the 10th Amendment. I sued them on the 10th Amendment. As a matter of fact, Clinton, it was his administration that I sued. So you know what that is technically, right? I'm the only person in history to sue Bill Clinton on a non-sexual matter. Okay, and somebody should have already talked to you about this, but it bears repeating. The Doctrine of Interposition. Look at that word in gold. This is James Madison and Thomas Jefferson talking about the Doctrine of Interposition. And look what it says. That right above interpose, read that sentence. That state's legislature is duty bound to interpose its power to prevent the federal government from victimizing its people. You must have someone in your county and in your state who understands this doctrine and understands that it's their job to put themselves in the way. That's what interpose means. Can I show you real quickly a real brief, quick skit that shows what that means? Yeah? You nodded your head, sorry.
Oh, I did?
Yes, you did, sorry. Okay?
Okay.
Is that your husband? Might as well get you involved too. Okay. So this, you don't need to hear this thing, all right. All right. You'll have to maybe help out with that. Okay. All right. So this is the baby in distress, and this is the main IRS agent, or DOF agent, doesn't matter. Bureaucracy. We are now living under a bureaucratic nightmare in this country. Okay? So he's going first as the public official of Oregon who knows and understands the Constitution and given laws. Interpose, and it's just like basketball. Okay? Defense. He moves, I move. He moves, I move. He moves, I move. Sorry, you will not get to her because I swore an oath to protect her. And I will stay here as long as it takes. You will not abuse her. You will not victimize her because that says to prevent you from victimizing my people. You're not going to. So you sit down there. Go back to Washington where you have jurisdiction, and when she recovers, she might meet you there. Okay? But you have to promise. Okay? No more victimizing and no more abuse. And seriously, folks, that is interposing. You literally put yourself in the way as long as you are sheriff, as long as you are in that position, as long as you are a judge or a county commissioner, or doesn't matter, dog catcher, governor, you can interpose on their behalf. And that is why we say there must be some alternative or option for people. Or crazy things are going to happen because out of the frustration, what else do they have to lose?
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, some of the people that were here in the community were at their ropes end. And I'm sorry that they came here and made you part of it, but they were. And it's easy to understand the frustration, isn't it? I don't support the death, but I understand the cause and the frustration. Thank you, sweet death. Strict formula for what the interposer will do each time might be different. But you start with saying, no, you will not do that. Let the IRS know. There's certain things you're not going to do in my county. There's ways to enforce it. Absolutely. That we have allowed, and that the U.S. Congress and President have allowed the IRS to continue to criminalize and victimize the people in this country, especially brutal to stop that, and that now it's almost accepted as mainstream that that's just what they do. You know, it's like death and taxes. No. We're taking our country back. We're taking the Constitution back. And it all boils down to some very simple fundamentals of free liberty. Now, I'm going to get into this case. I told you I'd show you the evidence. I'm going to show you the evidence, and I'll show you some more. Okay? From the only time a handful of sheriffs sue the federal government, go to the Supreme Court, and win. You'd like to see some of the principles from that case? I'm going to show you. This was the two. Sheriff Prince from Montana, and yours truly. Okay? Now, Judge Roll was my judge in Tucson, Arizona, and he said this. He summarized the case in one sentence. Mack is thus forced to choose between keeping his oath or obeying the law, subjecting himself to possible sanctions. Those sanctions, Roll was absolutely livid about, that the federal government had the audacity and the arrogance to grant us if we just don't comply. The law we break, we didn't bow down and kiss the hand of the king. I think there was only seven out of 3,086. 7. Now, the Clio, that's what they call us. That's what they call the sheriffs in this case. Don't you love it when the federal government gets it right? Because you know what Clio stands for?
Chief Law Enforcement Officer. And you know what that's referencing? The sheriffs.
Even they know who the head chief law enforcement officer is. I don't make this up, folks. I'm just showing you the Supreme Court decision. Okay? Under a separate provision of the Gun Control Act, that's the Gun Control Act, Federal Gun Control Act of 1968, that came about because of the assassinations of the 60s of the president and so on. The Gun Control Act, any person who knowingly violates a section of the Gun Control Act amended by the radio shall be fined. That's it, folks. I didn't make it up. Right? I'm just showing you the facts.
Let me go back past that, sorry. So Jennifer Long testified before the United States Congress in 1998 that the IRS routinely fabricated evidence against citizens who they knew could not defend themselves financially. And they've been doing that probably for about 50 years. And one person they did it to was my father. They fabricated all this stuff against my father. My father was a former FBI agent, and he went after him, and he was a better investigator than they were, and he uncovered their subterfuge, found out that he owed them no money, and that they actually owed him $600. Did he get it? No. They were other people, and they've been victimizing America for way too long. And why do we allow this instead of just simplifying the tax code if they needed any money at all, which they don't? And how do we know that they don't need money? Why? Because they'll just add to the national debt for any reason they want to. So why not? Leave us alone and just add to the national debt. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to them if they do that. And you know that our taxes, $1.2 trillion every year in federal income tax, only pay the interest on our national debt. So they don't need to just add it to the national debt.
You went from 8 trillion to 19 trillion in just 7 to 8 years. Go a little more. Leave us alone. They do not need the money. They take it and they don't care. And have they ever stopped stupid spending and wasteful spending? Not even close. Not even close. Get this. This is all about state sovereignty here. It is incontestable that the Constitution established a system of dual sovereignty. The federal government does have some sovereignty. They don't store it all away, but they do have some. And where they have it, but it's very small compared to state sovereignty, which is very large. Okay? Although the state surrendered, and that's not the right term, and Scalia, who wrote this decision, corrects this a little bit later. But this is not, we didn't surrender anything. Okay? We delegated, just like the Tenth Amendment used. The word is delegated. And we only delegated a few powers, discrete and enumerated. And I'll show you how he corrects it. But what's the key point here? It's in bleeding heart red. They, the states, retain a residuary and inviolable sovereignty. My friends, state sovereignty is only inviolable if you have state officials who keep it that way. You don't practice, you're not going to protect sovereignty unless you have a governor and local officials with the courage to do it. Our Constitution and our liberty are in the hands of the people who we elect. And if they don't do it, we're the only one left. And that's where we don't want to go with this. Because then there's trouble. So we've got to have local officials who know and understand this and have the courage to keep America free. Right? Residual state sovereignty was also implicit, of course. This is in the Mack decision again. You have those little booklets. In the Constitution's conferral upon Congress of not all governmental powers. And what kind of powers do they have? But only discrete enumerated ones. Read the first word, discrete enumerated ones. Then, how do we keep it discrete and enumerated? Which implication was rendered express. That means rendered absolute by the 10th Amendment's assertion. Somebody, somewhere in Oregon must assert the 10th Amendment. Listen, to you and to the state attorney for please email me, call me, come to this meeting, and I'll debate any attorney about any of this. I don't care who they are. I'll debate anybody about this. I'll gladly stand toe-to-toe with anybody because I got the facts on my side. Okay? Please tell me who lawfully and constitutionally is to enforce the 10th Amendment. It's every state official, and it's every sovereign citizen. And that's everyone. No, being a sovereign citizen is not a radical term where you're crazy and the government's going to watch you and keep and put you in prison. Okay? We're sovereign. Okay? The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution or prohibited by the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. That's what we sued on. If you don't have anybody enforcing that, you lose an essential part of liberty and freedom. We have to enforce the 10th Amendment. And I'm going to show you more facts about this right now. The foundation of this design is that with two political boundaries, one state and one federal. Now get that in bleeding heart red color. Each protected from incursion by the other. Didn't make that up. That's the United States Supreme Court, June 27, 1997. Who's to protect you from the incursion of the federal government? Okay. And it's not the geographical boundary, is it? That's not going to do anything. A Mack is not going to enforce states up. It's the people that we that promised us in God's name that that's what they were going to do.
Pretty process. Takes some courage, but it's very simple. As Nelson expressed it, the local and municipal authorities form distinct and independent portions of the supremacy. Who does? Who forms part of the supremacy? The local or municipal authority. There you go. Luke Dobbs was right, wasn't he? That's why he blamed local officials who did nothing. And that's why they got all this trouble. Whose fault was it?
Then get this. This separation of the two spheres, and the two spheres we're talking about is the state sphere, which is this big, the federal sphere, which is this big, because it has only what? Discrete enumerated powers as previously stated. And as the Constitution says, is one of the Constitution's structural protections of liberty. That's that part. The 10th Amendment is one of our structural protection of liberty. So it's all, I know it's getting late. Should we just leave? Because we're not talking about anything important here. We're just talking about the structural protection of liberty. You know, who needs it? Who needs it? You know? I'm telling you right now. I think there's a few people in Oregon. We're all going. And this is not going to be a daily process. It's only going to happen once in a while. With Brad Rogers and FRA in Indiana, it's happened once or twice. In the last 7 or 8 years. It won't be every day, and if we have hundreds and hundreds of sheriffs and local officials doing this, there's no stopping. See the picture? You take back America, county by county, state by state. Hey, now, get this, he gives us another solution. He gives us another equation for liberty. It's in gold. A healthy balance of power between the states and the federal government will reduce the risk of tyranny and abuse from either front. When you came to this meeting tonight, did you want to know how to reduce tyranny and abuse from the federal government?
Yes.
There it is. A healthy balance of power. Do we have that healthy balance today?
No.
Of course not. And so how do we take it back? We get governors and state legislators and county commissioners and heaven forbid county attorney with that substantial liberty. But the one on the front line with boots on the ground is your sheriff. And now it's up to you. You're not going to let you come that pretty soon. I challenge folks on that with the courage, the at least encourage.
You know, I've heard a lot of people whining about the audio and all that. I want to remind everybody, we're the only ones there. Nobody else is there. Everybody tucked tail and ran. Militias ran, media ran, everybody ran away. But we're there. We are there. The signal in this building sucks. She's got less than 2 bars. So we could have just done nothing, or we could have gone on air with this. So take it for what it is. We also have a camera recording this in HD for tomorrow as soon as we get uploaded. So everybody just chill the hell out and look and see what you're seeing. Because most of this has been reasonably clear and passable. So quit crying.
The Northern states didn't surrender the 10th Amendment. No, my dear friends, this was a gradual encroachment and stealing of authority by our own federal government. And it's happened worse as the time went on. And now, how do they make sure we stay in line? They bribe us. And they pay so much money to your state. And first, we send the money to them. And they send it back to us in bribes. It's a wonderful system. It's stupid as hell, but it's a wonderful system. Oh, I know. Yeah. And so, the first governor and state legislature that finally wakes up and sees this and says, oh yeah, we're not sending any more money to Washington. First of all, you don't know what the heck you're doing with it, and you don't balance the budget, and you bribe us with our own money. So we're just going to stop and we'll send you what we deserve. And from now on, just stay out of here, that's the problem. And I guarantee you, folks, we might be a bunch of rednecks and dummies in Arizona, but I guarantee you, we can run our own education and the Grand Canyon without the federal government. Guaranteed. And look, they sheriff and say, we're going to commandeer the homeless sheriff all over the country. What does he say? So now the federal government would be augmented in measure if we were able to present to a service and at no cost whatsoever. The peace officers of the 50 states. We can't do that. But we go along all the time. Why? Give us a federal government. And some sheriff's associations teach sheriffs how to get. We teach them not to take one penny. Leave them alone. Don't take their filthy bribes. Because you know what? I used to say, well, this is legalized bribe. There's no such thing as legalized bribe. A bribe is against the law. Okay, right. The federal government may not compel the states to enact or administer a federal regulatory program. This is from the United States Supreme Court, my dear friends. They cannot do that. But when they pay us, they'll do it. And in fact, our own governor in Arizona did it. She was completely opposed to Obamacare. Until $2 billion bribe to expand Medicare in the state of Arizona. This happened to other states too. And she held a big old rally out front of the state legislature in Phoenix. And this is how, if you've ever watched Star Wars, this is how Liberty died. With thunder supply. And that's what she got when she took that bribe. She got thunder supply. Same thing that happened in Star Wars. And it's astonishing how we copy that. But the Constitution, this is my favorite quote from this decision. This is from the U.S. Supreme Court, folks. Leah quoted another justice. But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. It divides power. Here we go. Amongst and among branches of government, precisely, so that we may resist the temptation to concentrate power in one location as an expedient solution to the crisis of the day. End quote. Have you heard that one? That they fabricate and that we buy on the silver platter. The crisis of the day. Remember Ron Magnet? was his motto. Never let a good crisis go to waste. I don't make any of this stuff up, folks. I'm just a messenger. Now, this is the order of the court. Start and goal. This is the last line. This is it. This is Scalia giving the bottom line, order of the court, to the Mack. Federal government may neither issue directives requiring the states to address particular problems, nor command the state's officers or those of their political subdivisions, the counties and cities, to administer or enforce a federal regulatory program. It matters not whether policy making is involved, and no case-by-case weighing of burden for benefits is necessary. Such commands are fundamentally incompatible with our constitutional sovereignty. My friend, the only way we maintain dual sovereignty is if we exercise our power as states. We are 50 United States with a small u, 50 United States. And you'll see that in some of the original documentation written by the time. Again, I didn't make any of this up. We can be free. We've gone way too far into social community, all power belonging to the federal government when it was never meant to be that. It was never meant. There is no way we can let this go. We can rein in the federal government. Do you know that right now, who lawfully determines the breadth and length and extremity of the federal government's power? Only they do. That was never meant to be. There is no way you can let the federal government be the judge of its own power and how far it goes. And the states are required to be a check and balance. And that's how we take it back. Just as he said, a healthy balance of power between the states and the federal government will reduce tyranny. And again, that's not a geographical boundary defending and interposing for her. It's the elected officials that we put in place. And so, can I tell you something? Be entertained by the farce known as the presidential election. Go ahead, be entertained. But you want to get serious about an election? Get serious about who your next sheriff is. Get serious about somebody when they raise their right arm, that they mean it when they tell you they will protect your God-given rights or die trying. That he will interpose on your behalf. That he will protect your land from everyone. Another thing that Thomas Paine said there, what difference does it make to me if a highwayman, which means a robber on the street, a highwayman or the government steals all my property? It's gone either way. The highwayman will give you a 5-year chance. The government never will. Who would you rather fight, a highwayman or the IRS? Okay, and for anybody to pretend, I'm going to tell you right now, you liars and you fools who try to pretend to the people of this country and in this county that you can gain justice if you just get a good lawyer. What a joke. First of all, good lawyers are so few. And secondly, who can afford that? You know how much it costs to go to this place? Thank goodness I couldn't take that. Or he would have been dead in water. I was never a member of the NRA. I have been recently. And I'm a member of Governors of America, and that's the one that won't compromise. I really love Larry Kraftman's attitude and his fighting ability there in Washington. Deserves a second amendment. But this is the thing. Our rights are only protected by people who have the courage to do it. And so I called the NRA when I decided to do my lawsuit when my wife gave me permission. And I called the NRA and I said, hey, I don't know if you can help me with this or not, but I want to see the federal government over the radio. And the next line, totally shocked. I was talking to Richard Gardner, a lawyer at the NRA, and he goes, Sheriff, we've already been preparing the paperwork on this case. We've been praying to help. Let's go get it. And this was a full-time job, and so I had two full-time jobs, suing the federal government and doing my job as sheriff. And we were really busy. And it paid off. But let me tell you right now, if I had to do it over again, I'm going to tell everybody now pretty much the same thing I told myself to. I would never do it again. Not that I wouldn't stand and fight. I would. But time for suing is over. Why would you go to court and ask permission to be over the law? You don't need to do that. Time for suing? No more. Time for doing? Now. We must be doers of the work. We must be doers and defending our Constitution. There is not time nor money to go to court on this issue. And anybody who tells you, well, I wish I could help you, but God, you know, I just don't have the authority to tell this abusive criminal. If I want all of you now, okay, I've got, you just reminded me. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask you right now. You know, I've got to ask you. You raise your hand. If you want a sheriff, or any other local official, you want a sheriff who will say, well, I just won't protect you from government criminals. They're after your land, you'll have to get a lawyer. Don't have the authority, and I will not interfere. They have jurisdiction over me, and I will let the federal government come in here to do whatever they want. Raise your hand if you want to vote for that.
We've already got him.
The 8-year-old kid is still voting. Ain't nobody raise their hand. Okay? You're on your way. You're on your way. To take you back to camp. Okay? Stand for freedom. Put freedom and liberty first. And I really, and usually, yeah, throw me one of those. Oh, wait, no, I got it. What we want all of you to do, okay? And I don't know if me told any of you, sometimes it costs to travel here and do these things. And I do, and I've been doing this up until this about the last 6 months free. I want each of you to take a card. I want you to examine this, and I want you to consider becoming a member of CSP. Everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. And some of you are in my books, but the CSP way is only as strong as the members we have in it. And we love to have citizens join us. You are a part of this. This is your organization. This is your solution. This is your time. This is all of us getting together and joining the holy cause of liberty. And I'm asking you to join with us in this. Is there anybody here not willing to take the same oath that our founders took to each other at the end of the Declaration of Independence? With the faith in divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We will never ask for your fortune. We'll only ask you to do what you can. Okay? Do what you can. Keep us going. Take us to the next level. Let's have 300 or 400 members in this room join up with us. I'm asking you. You want us to keep this rolling? Roll with it. Join this holy cause. It has been more than a pleasure to be with you. I know the questions could be really crazy tonight. And I hope you don't have too many. I hope I've answered most of them. I hope that I've given you a semblance of hope. And I know we've gone a little bit longer than I said I was going to go. Can we maybe just keep this really short to 3 questions? I normally don't like going with questions, but for you, I'd really like to. And let me tell you right now, I'll warn you right now. I'm going to take 3 questions. They better be good ones and represent the community, I hope. And they have to be questions. You hear me? Have to be questions. First one I saw was right.
How can we get Hammonds out of jail?
Yes.
How can we get the Hammonds out of jail? I believe that you are now faced with a monumental task of doing that because the door got slammed when they went in. Is there still alternatives? Absolutely. But they should have never gone, and that's when it should have happened before they went, obviously. So I'm going to tell you right now, I would love to come back and be part of any conversation and me giving suggestions. I gave suggestions before. They went unheeded. Okay? And I gave some real viable alternatives that could have kept the hand up. But people in high places would not listen. I think there's a couple of alternatives still there, but they're not nearly as strong now that they're behind bars. And I'm going to meet with some people about this tomorrow. But it would have been a lot easier, obviously. Hindsight's 20/20. It would have been a lot easier before. Is there a way? Yes. Is it much more difficult now? Yes. And I'll tell you right now, I would be willing to come back here at my own expense to help you devise those alternatives. It needs some public officials here.
Thanks.
That. Yeah, that's difficult. There's ways to do that, and we'll be doing, he's good now, but yeah, okay. We will be offering training, and we offer training all across the country on that. We offer our services, we offer our support. We are a support team for them. And like I said earlier, there's not going to be an equation that's going to fit all. But on these BLM issues, it's not that difficult. And so we're working on several issues in Washington on this, where we think there's very little hope there, but we are working with sheriffs. Now imagine that there would be 30, 40, 50 sheriffs in Oregon alone that say, BLM, there's a few things you're not going to do in our counties anymore. Or you have 2 or 3 sheriffs saying that. Which one's going to be better? I'm telling you right now, if we get a third, not even a third, if we get a fourth of our nation's sheriffs, that's like 600. If we get a fourth of our nation's sheriffs to unite behind erecting barriers, as Madison said, erecting barriers against the encroachments of the national authority, we're going to win this. Remember, this is peaceful, it's effective, and it's how we serve the people of our community. This is just serve and protect. Our motto is also on that. Protect and serve, uphold and defend. So that's really the best way we serve and protect our people is by upholding and defending the United States Constitution. This is what we promise to do. Those are really good questions, really good. You've got work to do. We want you to join with us. We want you to do this. Okay? I'm going to take one more question and then I'm going to close.
Yes, I was talking with Dr. Stevens in Bend, Oregon, and he told me to help out the Ham somewhat. He said that we needed to let Governor Brown, he taught them so many different things about getting the money back to us, like, or it would be besides our money that comes over here. They do most of everything. How do we stop this?
Well, it is a lot easier to stop it in the state than it is Washington, D.C. And so it's not even that you have to have a governor to know because you don't have it. But again, if you build these defenses in your county, again, it has to start here. Okay? Don't start in Portland. Start here. And you literally create a constitutional county. Literally. And so many people will want to move.
But what I'm saying is on the voting rights, Portland votes, they have more of a vote than we do over here.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of that.
There's ways to make them irrelevant also.
Yeah.
But, that you create that constitutional county. And I'm telling you again, the last one that's gonna get on board that constitution train is your county attorney. You really gotta get sharp in your boots for that. Whoever it is, I don't care, I don't even know who it is. So, all right, now I need, all you have to do is know, hold that. Oh, yeah, sorry, you did replay. So, my friends, I do this all across the country, I've been in all 50 states, and I love these beautiful children. And this is just wonderful. See it here. I have grandkids. No, I don't. My wife and I have 12 grandkids, and that's why we dedicated ourselves to this summer. Because it's the same faces everywhere I go. Beautiful faces. Your eyes looking at me, hoping that there really is a solution. I hope that I've given you some hope. There is a solution. It's non-violent. It's effective. We take back our freedom. Now, when I was first a rookie cop, I attended a seminar. I was taught by Dr. W. Cleon Scout, who converted me to the Constitution. And after the 2-day conference, which was a law enforcement training on Constitution in Salt Lake City, he handed me his book, The Making of America, and he said, promise me that you'll teach these things to your children. And my son Jimmy can attest to that. I have. And I've actually started teaching them to my grandchildren. And my first grandchild was a girl. She was born 9 years ago, 9.5 years ago, on the 4th of July. And her name is Liberty. So Liberty of God, Mack is this beautiful little ball of liberty. And to dedicate this, my grandkids, and yours, and your beautiful children, mine, I dedicate this to our founding fathers, you, and to the Hammonds, to all those who have been victimized by our own government. With that in mind, I share with you now this little kindergarten exercise that Dr. Scallon had 250 cops get up and do with him. I leave it with you. My dedication from my heart to yours about what American liberty is all about. And it goes like this. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure blessings of liberty to ourselves, our posterity, to ordain, establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That's the evil. Long may she be.
Thank you. Are we good, Mike? Hawk, are you there?
Yeah, you got to give me a second. Doing great. Yeah, you got to give me a second. Doing great. I said, yeah, you had to give me a second. I'm doing great. Everything was great.
Good. I got I gotta sign off here. I will be back to you in a bit, but I can't turn this around because I don't want to upset these people.
Right, that's no problem. We'll just stand by. All right, just give us a few seconds. She's got to get out of the building, so she... I don't want her getting in trouble. We almost got in trouble earlier and couldn't even broadcast this. Oh, Lordy, Friday night. Got me a big sack of Super Bubble bubblegum. So I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. Although, it's really weird. Double Bubble, or excuse me, Super Bubble, used to be way bigger. The same red, white, and yellow package in white. Red, white, blue, and yellow package. And it was like literally an inch long. Oh well, I only paid 99 cents for this big old bag. So I can chew bubblegum and kick ass. Hey, John Wolf's been wanting to get with me on Skype just to make his stuff works. God, the student needs to shave his eyebrows. Well, he ain't answered. Okay, well, anyway. We're kind of doing a little bit of standby. All right, so Sherry's headed outside the meeting. We're going to see if we can get people to talk to us. I don't know. We were inside earlier. She almost got herself in trouble and got us kicked out again. She was trying to give me video of the room, and I'm like, oh, I'll see you. And somebody said, I love listening to Sherry and Mike go back and forth or whatever, but she almost got herself in trouble. You know, kind of like when I sent Terry Joyce at the funeral, she almost got herself in trouble. Some people just don't want to be on a damn camera, so just, you know, so anyway. So we're just kind of waiting. See what's next. I don't know what's next. I think she's working her way out of the building, so just everybody kind of stand by in silence and drop anchor. I'll be right back. Yeah, if you're actually doing real media on the ground, it's all about waiting. So just be patient. Just be patient. She has to get out of the building, out where people will talk to her and all that kind of stuff. So just rubber baby buggy bumpers and just kind of stand by for a second, because we don't want to piss anybody else off. So. Oh, in the meantime, John Wolf, I tried to call you in between, Greg Ghost. I tried to call you. You wanted to test out your Skype, and I tried to call you between, and you didn't answer. Oh, well, you know what? I guess while we wait, I'll put up the call-in number. And you can call in if you got something to say. Go ahead and call in.
Make it okay? Yeah. Y'all be careful.
All right, if you call in and got something to say, call in and have a say at it, I guess. 702-605-4277. Seven zero two 605-4277. If you want to call in, you got any comments on any of this or all this insanity or whatever. Hell, even Joe Billy Biggs can call in here and tell us about his inflatable case so that Planet X don't bring it all down and his girlfriend, Barbara, she does flame cut haircuts. She uses a torch just to do the haircuts, just sim, and it's all going. There you go. And that's how it works back here in Missouri. We just get it out, all set it up. So, this is Joe Billy Big just saying, get in here. We got the inflatable caves. And, believe me, you don't pay your bill. We just give you a bunch of big whaps on the back. Maybe punch you up a little bit and bury you in the cave. So there you go. Joe Billy Biggs here, inflatable caves right here in Missouri. Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back. Revolution Radio, freedomsolution.com.
I came across a propaganda film the other day that pretty much sums up how the government and the so-called authorities and the people in charge and the powers that be really feel about us. And it's from the atomic age and the hype of nuclear warfare.
We can be attacked in spite of our excellent defenses. Attacks may be made in many ways, with bombs or with biological
And
weapons.
it depicts a publisher who writes an editorial calling Americans treasonous for planning to evacuate their city during a nuclear attack. He says the enemy will have no trouble winning the next war. Too many Americans will desert their cities at the first sign of danger. This is treason. And they go through letters from the public in this fictitious archive film.
Well, listen to one of these letters to the editor. Dear editor, your call for civil defense volunteers was nonsense. If this city is attacked, my plans are made and they don't include waiting around to get killed. I'm going to take my family to a place in the country where we'll be safe. I think I'm as patriotic as the next guy, but I'd be pretty dumb to remain in this city when those bombs start falling. We must make them realize there must be no taking to the hills. It's pushing them into something pretty close to treason. Thank God most people don't feel that way. But enough of them do to make it a serious problem.
I'm hauling out to the countryside. I love my country, but I'm not going to get...
All right, I'll pause this for a minute. Area code 352. You're on the air. Who dat? Where you at? What you got to say?
Hey, it's Tom in Florida. I talked to you guys the other night with Rancher Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, man. I just had a question. I was thinking about it. Why aren't any of these candidates that are running for the presidency talking about what's going on out there and saying, like Ted Cruz or whatever, because he's supposed to be constitutional, why isn't he saying, if I get elected, I will give these people, amnesty, I'll release them. I'll drop all charges, I'll have them released. Are you there?
I saw a tweet today from Donald Trump, and I'm not sure it was actually Donald Trump because there's like 9 bazillion Donald Trumps on Twitter.
Right.
But it said he was going to, if he got presidency, he was going to pardon all these guys. So, I don't know. And, I have no idea if it was actually Donald Trump that said that. So.
Right, I haven't heard, but I listened to Cruz on the radio earlier, and he was talking about, being constitutional and all that, but I haven't heard anything on mainstream or anywhere where they're talking about pardoning them or even mentioning the subject of what's going on out there.
All right, stand by, 352. We got readout back in from Burns. Sherry, you there?
Right here.
Okay, 352, I'll bring you back in later. I have to go back to video.
FreedomOutpost.com or
I saw something come through from them.
Sherry, video.
Come on, this thing really does not.
We're having real problems with our internet. We went through a back door earlier and then it
Every time I come to Burns, I
yeah,
go through this. Every time.
Yep. And it
20
wasn't.
state USA.
It is a huge 20 state.
Hawk, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I got no video.
Hawk, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I have no video.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I couldn't. It didn't look like it was connecting.
I'm here. I'm here.
Well, I'm trying to get you some video, but we've got at least some audio.
Yep.
I'm out of the parking lot, and my video is not working. It won't connect the video.
Oh, what? Okay. Let's try a reconnect. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, you there?
Yeah, but there's no video link on this. It's not going to let me do any video.
All right, let me try something else. Stand by. All right, there's the full reset. There we go.
Here with me is my bodyguard. Can I put you on video?
I suppose so.
Okay. Oh, we have got, we're outside. This is Preston. And he was in there with us at Sheriff Mack's talk tonight. And he's going to tell us what he thought about it.
Oh, it was a good speech. Like President Hall's 2-day seminar, he goes over, a lot of the principles that are in the Constitution, and essentially explain how your sheriff and your, also your state legislators are should interpose for you to keep the citizens from being abused in the states. That was the best part of his speech, actually. I thought, it shows how really any public official, should be doing this on behalf of the Hammonds, the people of Oregon, and the state where I'm from, also Texas.
Yeah. Preston's got some information that we were hoping you could help us check out.
All right, cool. Well, first of all, why the hell's he all the way up there from Texas? That's a long damn ride.
Yeah, it's about 2,250 miles.
Yeah, but you can get patriots together anywhere if they're needed.
Yep. Be careful, though. Be careful. All you patriots have been targeted, as from what I've just heard recently in the last few hours.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Why am I here? I'm part of the Oath Keeper organization out of Texas.
Right, cool. Yeah. I work with Jason Van Tattenhove and some of those guys at Oath Keepers here. All right, so your information is, and you're kind of breaking up, Sherry.
Okay. My question is, I've run across. There was an article with Jason Van Tatenhove with these Oath Keepers and these 68 warrants that are allegedly being issued against members. But the other tidbit that was in the article was that you remember the family of singers? It was a woman with their 8 children.
Victoria Sharp's family.
Yeah. Apparently, as part of that article, it said that her home in Auburn, Kansas, has been surrounded by the FBI, but I haven't been able to verify that.
Yes, sir. Actually, we released that information yesterday. Not saying you're late, but we're right on this every moment of the day.
Go ahead. That
Sorry, you chopped up. What, Sherry?
The question is whether or not that has been confirmed.
She's being surveilled. It's not like they're being surrounded in a siege. The family home is being surveilled by a couple of FBI vehicles. It's not like there's a bunch of armed people surrounding the house. Did you catch that?
Okay, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, it sounded from the article like it was more of a siege situation, but yeah, it's still not good. I mean, there's obviously a lot of intimidation and threats being leveled against them, probably to try to get to the girl, but I did want to make sure,
Yeah, she isn't even there.
She's not there?
No, she's not at the family home. She was, she's elsewhere.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that, but at the same time, they're trying to intimidate the mom and the family, in order to get to her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're trying to intimidate everybody. And you can thank Carrie Cassidy and her bunch for that, because her and her FBI informant bunch of COINTELPRO jackasses brought her on air and actually tried to get her to say that Lavoie had a gun and all that kind of stuff. Nobody, those 2 women in the back of the van had no idea. It's like they weren't the gun check people. They had no idea what these guys had on them. Anyway, regardless. So, and they were trying to do that, and that's why I fired Carrie Cassidy a long time ago. from this station because she is COINTELPRO, CIA, operative kind of stuff. And, we do everything. I work with all of these people, all of the people that everybody talks about. I have their phone numbers. I talk to them. I never cold call them on the air. I never put anybody in a bad situation. We're just reporting the truth the best we know how. And but do be careful with reports you get from the internet.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, usually I have a way through others of verifying things, but that one's a little farther off and maybe a little off the radar, so to speak.
Right. Some of this information that you may see from the internet is stuff that comes from me.
Are you rumors?
I have seen articles come out from my intelligence reports from people that tell me, and then I tell other people, and then I see articles come out from my intelligence reports. So there you go. Take that how you want.
We all do the best we can.
Definitely. So anyway, anybody that has information or anything, if you look at our live stream, there is an email address in that box, in that information box. If you have information, send it to me via email. As long as it doesn't have, like an ad for pots and pans in it, it'll get through to me. Otherwise, it goes into my spam box, and I don't even look at my spam box. I just delete it all. Don't even care. My personal email box has somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 emails a day. That's enough for me to deal with all by myself. So.
Hey, I got something for you. Second, third, fourth hand, I don't know. I talked to a gentleman today, a business owner.
Okay.
Now, this guy swears up and down this FBI agent came in and talked to him in his store and said that they had, I think it was a Cessna up there, a manned plane is the vehicle that they were using to take the video. The traffic stop.
Yeah.
And that they had infrared, and they're going to justify everything because the infrared showed the 9mm in LaVoy's pocket. Now, you guys are better at this stuff than I am. Now, this guy told me a lot more than that, but
there's unless he had fired that weapon, I mean, within 2 minutes or less, there's no way infrared would show.
It wouldn't show a cold spot on his side.
Yeah, there's no way that video could show cold steel on his side. Give me a break.
That's what I said, but he said that's the way the FBI is doing it. So I don't know. I'm just, like I say, passing on different things that I hear.
You know what? The FBI yesterday at that press conference said yesterday they had no dash cam footage. They had no lapel footage. Actually, if there were any Oregon State Police on that site whatsoever, they all have dash cam footage and lapel footage because it is the law.
Oh, there is that footage
in Oregon. So that dickweed at the at that press conference that we were at yesterday is lying. That's a complete and total lie.
Well, you know what? We're talking about a group of people, namely the government, and that's all they do is lie. So I've got no doubt they're going around town telling all these different stories.
Well, of course.
All
right, and the guy you're looking at right now is grinning real good and saying nothing.
Questions?
Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Well, I mean, what the hell you think about all this, dude? I mean, seriously.
He's an oath keeper. Keep that in mind.
Well, there you go. And he stole my beard.
No, I think this is all part of the downfall of America. Is what it is. The corruption has gotten to such a level now that It's in your face. You can have all the videos you want, all the evidence, but nothing gets done. I mean, for whatever reason, we're become a corrupted people, and we need to straighten out quick. I mean, this is just a small example of what's going on here. I mean, I have never seen a police state like Burns, Oregon. I have no idea how this town affords all the police.
And he's not kidding there.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
We went up, well, Brett went up and talked to, now the courthouse is still barricaded, and most of the police are not guarding that anymore, but they still had FBI guarding it with ARs and such today. Brett went up and spoke to them. And he had to promise them he wasn't recording them and he wasn't going to be a shock jock like Pete Santilli, and then they laughed and spoke to him. But they have been given no word as to when they're going to be leaving.
Did he check their insignia and boots?
It had FBI all across them.
All right. I keep telling you guys to look at people's boots. How many times in a protest I've said, look at the boots, look at the shoes, because the shoes, see, there you go. Always look at the shoes. You would be surprised what the shoes of a person will tell you.
Oh, it's like 8 feet or something up there. Preston's really tall, so Brett's gonna hold the camera.
All right, so I'm assuming you're holding your camera over your head right now.
Yeah, I think it's about a foot over her head at least.
Yes. I'm really short, guys.
Stand next to him and I'll back up.
Right here. See how short I am?
Did I give you a good idea there, Mike?
There you go. So, I mean, well, Preston's awesome, but is no one else interested in talking?
For whatever reason, the intimidation and threats from the local officials seem to work in this county.
Yeah, apparently, because I had to call Sheriff Denny and make sure this went down so we could even get into this meeting. Or not Sheriff Denny, but Sheriff Mack.
Sheriff Mack, correct. Yeah, I don't, I don't live here. I haven't been here that long, but it just, there's a lot of people here that are kind of, scared of what's going to happen when the militia leaves, and most of them have already. I don't know what to tell them. The only thing I tell them is you got to stand up, you got to fight, even if it's the last thing you do.
Well, that's what I've said right down to today. I said everybody left. The militia left, all the other pussies cut and ran tail, but we're still there on the ground with you guys.
Yeah, you said that. I remember you saying that.
So not it's just, I guess there's a language thing here, but still.
Sure.
Sherry and Brett, I mean, I said, can you go? And they went. And they came there. And I need to let everybody know, and Sherry and Brett, that some people were watching our chat room when I said you were on the way. And there was some stalling that actually went on to make sure you could get your feet on the pavement in case something went wrong before all this went down. So that's how much respect we've garnered due to your reporting.
And keep in mind, we had an exclusive with those representatives. They waited for us and asked us to do this for them.
Yes, exactly. And who was the people that were facilitating getting those guys out of the refuge?
Yeah, Coalition of Western States.
Exactly. So, I'm extremely unimpressed with Pastor or whoever, Graham. He put out a statement today giving nothing but kudos to the FBI. What? And quite honestly, the only people that got those kids out of there I call them kids because I'm an old guy. But still, the only reason those kids came out of there is because of Gavin and Chris Ann Hall and Michelle. Quite honestly, none of them being negotiators. You know, they talked him off that ledge. Quite honestly.
Yep, and I was impressed with how many of the Coalition of Western State members actually took time off during session to come out and help be present and be witnesses, besides the ones that went in and helped talk them out.
Exactly. So, Pastor or Reverend Graham or whatever, it kind of upset me when I saw his post today giving credit to nobody but the FBI.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
Was he a 501c3? You might need to say that.
Isn't Liberty University?
Yes.
They're the ones that teach the gun classes for their students.
Maybe. I don't know.
The children of the...
All right, but you got a guy in front of you. What does he think about this?
Well, I would check to see if he's part of InfraGard, the FBI program.
If he's talking, I can't hear him.
Yeah, well, find out, if Graham is part of a 501c3. Find out if he's part of InfraGard, the FBI program. Look into what he's doing. Why does he talk like that?
Yeah, there we go. Now I can hear him. Okay. Yeah, this is getting stranger and curiouser, and I have said for the last couple days this has gone full on bizarre.
Yeah, it's a takedown now. They're going to take down the Patriots as hard as they can, and ranchers and everybody else wants to support.
I got a report earlier that I cannot verify. I'm going to say this say this very clearly. I cannot verify it. But I did get a report earlier from somebody I guess I trust, but that Obama has given carte blanche to Department of Justice to start taking down militia and anybody involved in any of this, and anybody that may be involved in any of this at a later date.
Does that include the constitutional sheriffs?
Yes, that's what I heard. I cannot verify it, and I will not say, and I'm telling you right now, this is what I heard. We get rumors and more rumors. Sometimes people that I trust give me good stuff. Sometimes people I trust give me bad stuff. Sometimes people I don't trust give me the best stuff. Because so it's just, that's kind of the matter of the, it's just, vetting and keeping up, just vetting and keeping up.
We all go through that. That's perfectly understandable. Yeah, and yes, we have to say it's all unconfirmed rumors that have not, been vetted. But it does tell you to be on your guard.
Definitely.
Yep.
We do know. I have not got a document that says all the names, but all the indictments have been dropped down from Bundy Ranch, and they got a couple of more of those guys tonight or earlier this afternoon.
Wow, that's bad.
That
Is this your ride?
This is Rocky. Have you met Rocky yet?
No.
That's another ride in Latin County, California.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, she's great.
Is she willing to be on live?
She was going to. She hates it. You better ask her first. You want to be on Hawk's show on Revolution Radio?
Okay.
She doesn't want to be on there, Hawk. Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, hell, why not? Which is the best place to be.
Okay. I'm not into forcing somebody who's been on the lines. She's trying to set up for something maybe tomorrow, but I'm not sure what's going on. But she doesn't want on camera.
All right, that's cool. Well, I mean, some people just don't want to be on camera. That's cool.
Yep. Good. How are you?
I'm kind of tired.
Good. How are you?
Are you still here?
We are.
That's cool.
So, what do you think about tonight?
Oh, it was very good, and I felt inspired. I've been sad the last couple of days, because of the injustice. And
Yeah, it was pretty tough when they came out.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And I want to. They really helped us get a jump start, and I better go.
Oh, yeah. Okay, everybody's ride's leaving.
Well, at least your ride ain't leaving until you're ready to go.
Well, I'm her ride.
Looks like somebody has an oil leak.
Yep, they did. Well, with the temperatures here, it could be something else too.
Well, I hope it isn't a brake fluid leak. They're going to have a bad ride home.
My face, I don't want my hair. Take the battery.
Hey, now y'all get Brett. Let's walk over towards the car. Got those headlights on him, so now you can get him. And he'll just talk forever. I'll even let him get in the car, and we'll get him while he's sitting in the driver's seat.
There you go.
Go get in the car. I'm cold.
Put your damn gloves on.
I'm getting in the car. I won't need my gloves.
All right, you always forget your gloves.
I do. They're in my back seat, though. Like I need them now, huh? Oh, hey, we have no light here, Brett.
I've been thinking, quite honestly, we need to figure out a way to glue your gloves to your forehead because you're constantly forgetting them.
Oh, it connected to the car when I started it.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, I gotta figure this out.
Can you still hear us?
Yeah, we hear you fine. You're on Star now. All right, so now we're on the official FBI feed.
No, we don't have OnStar.
We have another one just like it, though.
We drive Fords, not Chevys.
Oh, man.
So you have a Ford. So what is that, Off-Star?
No,
It's called Sync.
Yeah.
And it connects to your phone and puts your cell through the speakerphone. I didn't know it would work with the Skype activated.
Well, it seems it's working.
Yeah.
Are you getting any echoes or anything because of this there?
No, man, sounds good. Actually, video quality and everything else increased by 500%.
Well, the video quality is because I turned on the light.
No, better than that. You just so good looking there, baby. Look at that fur and that, he should be in ZZ Top, don't you think? Check out that beard. And it's all white. They make him play Santa Claus at Christmas.
It's not quite all white.
It's close.
I got a couple of red strands in there left.
Well, all that white came from your daughters. A couple that are left are coming from your granddaughter.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a big white streak going through my hair. I basically now look like Cruella de Vil.
I'm gonna have to do something for you on that one, a meme or something. That'll be fun. Well, it's been an interesting visit to Burns this week. Now, we spent more time here than we expected to.
All right, well, anyway, catch us up on your plans. You were talking about coming back next week. and which I have to wonder, is it more expensive for you to come back next week or just stay there?
But let me tell you, next Saturday, there is a constitutional carry rally in Boise.
Yeah, which we need to be covering.
Yeah, we're going to be covering that. We're going to live stream it with you. But Boise is only like 3 hours from Bern.
Oh,
I'm going to turn this off and start driving.
Okay, go.
Okay.
Don't worry about the dark.
Well, we'll have some headlights here as soon as I get my seatbelt on. But after I do that constitutional carry rally and maybe talk to a couple of legislators down there, hopefully, we are, like I say, only about 3 hours from Bern. So I talked to Tom and a couple of people, and they want me to come back and check and see if they've been able to get anybody together and try and get any progress done, and see what's happening since everything was done yesterday.
Right.
Today we went around town and got some video. They're trying to be all kinds of patriotic here. This all happened after the takedown of the refuge yesterday.
Well, yeah, of course.
They've got flags everywhere, and we're going to show you that as we know those come down at night, don't they?
They do take them down at night.
Yeah, they take them down. But we have the video, and we'll be uploading it. But everybody was ordered to put out all of their flags throughout the town to show what great Americans they are for taking out them kids out there at the refuge. And then today they put them back up, and they have them up. And we confirmed with a couple of different residents that is strictly about the refuge. It has nothing to do with President's Day. Again, they were all told, get your flags out there. And it looked like one group of flags probably came from the Boy Scouts, different things like this. But this came down from their local government to do all this and show how what good American Harney County is and Bern.
Okay.
So the dictatorship in this town has not diminished at all. And
no, I mean it's been. Yeah, this has all clearly been covering up corruption at the expense of lives and. Just not LaBoy Finnecum's life, but a lot of lives and a lot of people that are in jail right now, their lives, just to cover up and protect all that corruption that's going on out there as they've seen. And we saw the FBI say they were going to send document inspection teams to make sure they didn't destroy or damage documents. I mean, seriously, the document dump has been done. Anonymous already has it. That scares the crap out of them.
Right. Keep going. I'm just plugging in my phone.
I mean, really, quite honestly, when the racial divide and the religious divide in America all realizes that they're all looking down the barrel of the same damn gun, that scares them right out of their poopy pants. Over here on the other side, because when we all realize, no matter what the racial or religious divide is, we're all staring down the same barrel, no matter what. We are all staring down the same barrel.
Yep.
And when all these people realize that, and when all these people realize that and begin to start coalescing, that entire idea scares the crap out of our government at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's exactly the appearance they're putting out. They are so afraid of the people that they have got to crack down and stop these right-wing extremists now, so that they don't lose any power whatsoever.
Yeah, and again, I go right back to they keep everybody divided into little pockets. doing their own thing. And when everybody, and when all these little pockets realize that we're all staring down the barrel of the same gun, and start getting together in that realization, they know that's going to be bad for them. That's why they go to such efforts to maintain this racial, religious, and social divide.
Yeah. Now, did we tell you about the FBI? Did we bring that up?
Say that again.
Courthouse?
Say it again.
Okay, well, Brett was the one who actually spoke to him. We were up looking around, like I say, getting a little video of the town and how it looks now. And the barricades are still up around the courthouse, but most of the sheriffs from around the state were not there. It was being manned by FBI, and they were all kinds of labeled as FBI. And Brett went out to speak to them. Go ahead, Brett. Tell them all about it.
Okay, so I was carrying a camcorder, and I very deliberately told them, it's turned off and the lens cap is closed. I'm not recording anything. I said, we're not all like Pete Santilli, and that got the one guy who was coming out to talk to me to crack a smile. Up to that point, they were rifles ready. You know, you're talking
aggressive stance.
Theirs are probably M16s. Same. It's an AR platform, but very aggressive stance. As soon as I said that, he started to relax a little bit.
I don't know if you can read that billboard or not, but it says, "We are Harney County. We have our own voice." That is one of the free billboards that was put up at the request of a couple of citizens that apparently work for the government. I don't know who they are, but I heard all about it.
Okay.
So keep going, Brett.
All right, continue, Brett.
All right. So I was basically asking him, how much longer are the barricades and everything going to be here? And I pointed to all the fencing and the concrete barriers. And I said, I'm really not here to film this or cause a problem. And the other two finally cracked a smile, and one of them said, we've been here for, I think they said 41 days. We're ready to go home too. But they finally relaxed when they realized I wasn't up there to film and get in their face and cause a problem. So they are a few.
Well, I gotta honestly, I don't think any of these guys, or not most of them, want to be standing in the cold, looking at concrete barriers. All those guys, I told everybody, a couple of days before, there was a separate team coming in with snowmobiles for that supposed, quote, quote, traffic stop. But, all these other guys, they're kind of in, it's kind of like the privates in the Army. Do what you're told, shut up. Yeah. So they're just kind of standing there doing their thing. They don't want to be where they're at. It's freaking cold.
But they also aren't being given any clue as to when they're going to get to go home.
Right, and they nobody tells them anything. They don't know anything. They're just told to stand there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they do seem a little frustrated with it, but they're professional.
Right, and we talked to some of the other law enforcement people over the course of the last few weeks. They're all like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Well, yeah, the refuge is 30 miles south of town. They weren't in any danger.
The refuge is south or north?
South.
Oh, okay. When I look at the map, it looks like it's north.
Well, you turn your map upside down.
All right. I'll stand on my head next time.
That's why, when we said yesterday we were so far from Burns, travel, that far down there.
Right. Well, it's kind of interesting.
We're turning, just to let you know, we're turning on 395 North.
Okay.
And it's going to be about 20 miles before we get to the site of LaVoy's shooting, and we may lose the internet before then.
All right, that's fine. Where are you headed?
We are headed towards John Day. We are not staying in Burns tonight. We're staying, it's about an hour and a half drive, actually.
All right. Well, I say I don't know what you're paying up there, but that's a long ride. I say you $100. That's all I can afford.
Well, we actually found one of the most reasonable places in Johnson Day to stay. So it's the one. No, I don't think so. But it's reasonable. We went ahead and arranged for it for tonight because we knew that we were going to be quite a while in Burns. So we're going to stay there, and we'll be heading home tomorrow early. We have an appointment tomorrow night, actually, Lincoln Day dinner. And there's supposed to be several people that we want to talk to and want to talk to us.
Yeah, we've got to get an interview with one guy who's one of the bigwigs in the coalition of the see if we can get a few statements that I've uploaded. You can share it out there if we get it.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah,
hey, listen. Tomorrow, before I lose you because you're getting choppy now. Tomorrow when you're coming home from John Day, I want you to stop by where LaVoy went down, and I need you to do some stuff. Can you hear me?
Well, we're not passing there tomorrow. We're passing there tonight.
Well, okay.
What do you need done?
I need you in the daylight to actually get a way better than what we have video of not only the space up and into there, but stuff up into the trees and the snowmobile tracks and all that kind of stuff. It has to still be there because it hasn't cooled off or warmed up and I lost him. Shit.
I got a video yesterday and got a lot of that stuff yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right, well, okay, well then give me that information so I can get that up.
Get her out.
All right, that's cool. Anyway, I've lost them, folks. I'm sorry. They're headed to John Day. Apparently, they got the information I needed. Apparently, I don't have the proper link to go get it. So anyway, I'll wait till they give me the link to go get it. Anyway, that's the end of this broadcast, folks. Thanks very much. It's called The World of the Curiouser and Curiouser. I'm going to let this drain out buffer-wise, and we're out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. We will have some HD video from the Sheriff Mack video, or from the Sheriff Mack meeting, and several other things. Apparently, I just didn't get the proper link. So, anyway, we'll get there. So, you got more than most. And we're the only people, we are the only people on the ground right now in that zone. And remember, it costs money to keep these people in the field. I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. RevolutionFreedomSlips.com. This is the Nighthawk. We are out.